How rare is it to have no inner voice? Welcome back to the realm of curiosities. Today, we're going to talk about something you may have assumed everyone experiences: the voice inside your head. Right now, try saying your own name without moving your lips. For many people, that produces something resembling a silent voice. You do not actually hear it through your ears, but the words seem to exist inside your mind. You might use this voice when reading, planning what to say, remembering a phone number, arguing with yourself, or deciding what to eat for dinner. This experience is called inner speech, but apparently not everybody experiences it in the same way. Some people describe an almost continuous internal conversation. Their thoughts arrive as sentences, complete with tone, rhythm, and sometimes even imagined conversations between different voices. Others report surprisingly little inner speech, and some people say they experience virtually none at all. So what happens inside their heads? They still think. The important misconception is that having no inner monologue does not mean having no thoughts. Thinking does not require sentences. Someone might think primarily through visual images, spatial relationships, emotions, abstract concepts, or a sense of simply knowing something without mentally putting it into words. Imagine looking at a red traffic light. You probably understand that you need to stop without consciously thinking the sentence, "The traffic light is red, therefore, I should stop." Your brain can reach a conclusion without narrating every step. Researchers have actually tried to measure how often people experience inner speech during everyday life. One method gives participants random alerts throughout the day and immediately asks what was happening in their minds at that exact moment. These studies have found enormous differences between people. Some report inner speech frequently, while others experience it only occasionally. In 2024, researchers proposed a term for extremely low or absent inner speech, anendophasia. They compared 46 adults who reported very little inner speech with 47 who reported high levels of it. The low inner speech group performed worse on one type of verbal working memory task. For example, remembering a sequence of words can be easier if you silently repeat those words to yourself. If you do not naturally use an internal voice, that strategy may be less available. They also had more difficulty judging whether words rhymed when the words looked different. Think about the words box and fox. You can silently pronounce them and immediately hear the rhyme. Someone who experiences very little inner speech may rely more heavily on another strategy. But something surprising happened in the other experiments. The low inner speech participants were not simply worse at thinking. On tasks involving switching between rules and certain types of visual categorization, there was no meaningful disadvantage. Their brains appeared to solve those problems perfectly well without relying heavily on internal language. However, there is an important scientific debate here. Researchers do not yet know how many people truly have absolutely no inner speech. In fact, some scientists argue that current research has demonstrated large differences in inner speech, but has not yet proven that a completely absent inner voice exists as a distinct condition. So those viral claims that a specific percentage of humanity has no internal monologue should be treated cautiously. We simply do not have a reliable worldwide percentage yet. There is another reason this is difficult to study. How do you describe something happening entirely inside your own consciousness? Two people might use completely different words to describe very similar mental experiences. One person might say, "I hear myself thinking." Another might say, "I know the words, but I don't actually hear anything." Are those different experiences or simply different descriptions? Scientists are still trying to answer that question. Inner speech itself also comes in different forms. Sometimes it resembles your own voice. Sometimes it is condensed into fragments rather than complete sentences. You might mentally hear another person's voice when remembering a conversation. And sometimes your thoughts may contain no obvious words at all. This means the difference between people may not be as simple as having an inner voice versus not having one. Human thought appears to exist on a spectrum. At one end are people whose minds seem almost constantly narrated. At the other are people whose thoughts rarely take the form of language, and both can navigate the same world. So here is an interesting experiment. After this video ends, pay attention to your thoughts for the next few minutes. When you decide what to do next, Do you actually hear the sentence inside your mind? Do you see an image? Do you experience both? Or do you somehow already know what you are thinking without seeing or hearing anything at all? Because perhaps one of the strangest differences between humans is completely invisible. We can stand beside each other, look at exactly the same thing, and reach exactly the same conclusion, while the experience happening inside our heads may be completely different.